Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Sound Travels is pleased to present to some and introduce to others. You're going to put that on the screen?
You do it. And you're not recording. You need to turn this off because people will hear.
Yep. Some people will hear it. Okay, there we go. I think we've got all the technical issues resolved, and we are live. Is that my brother from another mother?
This is.
The only living twin I have?
Yes, indeed.
Whiter than Casper's ghost?
Yep, still am. I signal satellites.
Yeah. I know you walk outside, folks can't see you because you're blinded by the sunlight.
That's right. That's right.
You have any Irish in you? I'm just wondering about that.
My mother told me 10 years ago that I was a quarter Irish, and I was so disgusted. I said, "Ma," I said, "how in the world am I going to catch up on all that drinking now?" Yeah.
The views and opinions are those and do not reflect the views and opinions of Pastor Dan, this station, or its management.
I'm merely stating what I said to my mother. And that is the fact. Since I am now entitled to make such comments due to my 25% heritage.
Oh, that's true. So you can make a quarter of stupid comments.
That's right. The other quarter is Scottish and half English.
Let me give a shout out to 1 second. Pastor Wall, if you can hear me, would you come in, please? Thank you. I need a charge unit for an old school iPad. Can I borrow yours if you have it? I didn't bring mine for some unexplained reason.
So what's on the docket today?
Well, today, we just send our prayers out to Bishop Hanby, who has been going through some medical issues, which have been basically sidelining him for the last few weeks. Last week, we were getting ready for the outside, a couple of weeks ago, we were getting ready for the outside event, which turned out to be a huge success. We thank everybody who participated in that. And this Saturday, yours truly is going to be leading the March for Jesus for the third year in a row with a sound truck that is, every year we get larger, and this year is no exception. Last year, we were basically dealing with 3,000 watts of power. This year, we're dealing with 8.
You are strapped like Mad Max.
Yeah.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah. Well, it's getting bigger this year, all I can tell you. I had it set up in my backyard last night, and the squirrels were coming out from miles around. The rabbits just ran and hid.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Probably the only good thing about living in my particular neighborhood on my particular street is that nobody has a right to yell at anybody about how loud anybody ever is. So I don't know if I was able to text Chaplain to tell her that we were going to be on today. I hope I did. I don't see... Okay.
Yeah, she'll be on. She'll come.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't text her. Hang on a second. Let me text her now. Real quick while we're doing this. I know live TV.
Mm-hmm.
We are live, waiting for you. If you can join us this morning, would be great. Okay, we've taken care of all the randomness that goes on behind the scenes, which of course happens in real life in our world.
Yeah. So what's going on? What's going on with this Clancy thing? Why are so many people rallying to support this woman? I don't understand.
Well, let me say it this way. I don't know anything about what's going on with her. I don't want, at this point in time, I'm trying to avoid politics or things of that nature, only because and as I said, I don't even know what Clancy you're talking about. So that's how far away I am removed from the situation. Yeah. So let's just leave that right there. So the answer to your question of what we're going to talk about today is I had an occasion on last Friday to spend some time in the company of a Muslim female. I was giving her a ride to pick up her car, and the ride was like 30 miles away. The car was 30 miles away, if not a little further. So we had an occasion, and this is the second time I've had to drive her and drop her off and pick her up and all this stuff. So we had an occasion to have some frank conversations because she wears the hijab, and I had her sit in the back seat because just out of properness, and B, just out of self-preservation, no female that I know of that doesn't know, that my wife doesn't know and have a conversation with, rides in the front seat of my car ever.
Right.
So, and that's just protocol's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't have it with me now. We're just don't sweat it. Oh, I'll deal without it. So one of the conversations I had with her, and she didn't expect this, of course, because that's Dan being Dan, apparently. I said, when you came to America, before you came to America, what were some of the stereotypes that you heard about black people that when you got here, you found were either true or not true? And she admittedly, wanting to be kind and proper and all of that, she didn't really want to answer the question properly because it's an interesting mix. What I have discovered, what I've learned from being in her presence is it's an act of demureness, if I can say it a certain way, but it's not really demure. In other words, if there's something that she doesn't like, she'll speak up immediately and argue to the last breath for it. So I don't know if that's a cultural thing or what, but she never really answered the question, and we did promise to get back together to have a conversation about that. I don't know whether that'll happen or not. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Oh, there she is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Sound Travels is pleased to present to some and introduce to others the heart of Sound Travels, nearer, my God, to thee. Good morning, Chaplain Nera. Are we ably assisted by the wolf this morning?
Not today. Unfortunately, Wednesdays are my Columbus Day, apparently.
Apparently. So you're just tooling down the road. Ooh, I'm driving my wife away. Look, oh, no, wait a minute. That's a different song. I'm sorry. I remember the first time I preached about sin, I got up in front of the congregation and I said, let he who was stoned cast the first sin. Needless to say, it was a very short sermon, and for some reason, I never got invited back.
I know.
You were just in the wrong state when it happened. That's fine.
So today's topic is, what are the stereotypes that you as a Christian have to deal with, and how are you countering them? And this comes from the fact that she said, well, you know the different stereotypes. And I went, yes. She said, well, why don't you try and why don't people just try and live their life so that those stereotypes are not true?
That'd be great.
And
We need to get everybody on board with it.
yeah, and I thought to myself that's a really, I don't know. I for some reason it was unsatisfying as an answer, and I can't really tell you why. But it just seemed to me to not answer my question, which automatically bothers me from the start when I ask a question I want it answered. And to duck it that way seemed to be to me a bit disingenuous. But I chalk it up to culture and kindness and all of that as to why she didn't feel comfortable answering that question. To me, it's kind of weird because this is a person who is going to school at Harvard and is incredibly intelligent. And I'm just wondering how she's going to use her degrees and what she learns back in her own country, where she's from. And I didn't broach that one because the first one I thought was slamming enough, let alone that one. So how do we as Christians not live up to the stereotypes? And let's start with you, because ladies go first, and I don't know what Dan's identifying today as, so I'll just assume it's male and let you go first.
So I would say the first biggest thing that pops into mind is that the negative press gets the most press. And so the people who are out there, who are the quiet and the most Jesus-like people, who are just out there and helping and healing where they can and just doing all the things, quote-unquote, right, don't make the news. And so we don't hear about those stories. We don't know how many people like that are out there because of it. And so it's the people who are on the farthest end of the spectrum, as it were, who are the ones making the news. They're the ones that people are looking at, and so they're the ones framing the stereotypes. And if you don't fit into that, people don't really know where to put you, so they just kind of lump you in because they don't feel like they want to make another stereotype, because what exactly are they supposed to put in there? Average, normal, regular person who cares about other people today. Like, you know, where do you put them? And so me, as a pastor's kid, I was lumped into a stereotype as a child and as a teenager, and everyone looked at me like, oh, you're one of those. Because pastors' kids fall into two categories. The perfect, prim, proper, Von Trapp family does exactly what they're told and is the cute, quiet, demure, but judgy on the inside. Or the complete opposite. I'm going to sow my wild oats and I want nothing to do with Jesus and I can do whatever I want and get away with it because everyone loves me. And I was always lumped into one of those two categories. And I hated it because I'm like, I'm not either one of those things. I'm an individual. And if you don't want to see me as an individual, then that's your fault.
Okay. I'll hold you right there. Brother Dan?
Well, I was afraid you'd ask me that.
Listen, you're a preacher of the gospel. Try not to be afraid.
Okay. I came to this country knowing about the stereotypes that are not flattering to black people. And I came with the attitude that I was going to make a point of illustrating that they were all false. I gave up because I had way too many black people fighting to prove that they were all true. And after a while, I said, "What? I'm the dummy here. And not to say that, I haven't encountered many black people of high moral fiber and character, but I think the average, I can't be scientific because I haven't gone around and done a census of black people and see who's a hood rat and who's not. But there's plenty of solid good people out there, but the culture is fighting to prove that the stereotypes are true to your detriment. And for love nor money, I can't figure out why you'd want to do that. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, well, the gauntlet is down.
And listen, I love people. I love black people. I'm not racist at heart. I'm saddened when I see all these behaviors, these street takeovers. It's not that it's all black people, but it's always black people. You don't see white kids tearing up a food court at the mall. They're not there. And so I'm having to ask myself, black people, what's going on with your kids? Why are your kids doing this? Who is in control of the family culture in black culture? And I throw that out as a challenge, a loving challenge. I don't know how else to put it. But I think this is one of those subjects that white people recoil away from.
Which is why we don't want with it.
And it goes on and on and on because everybody's afraid to talk about it. And I hope you'll appreciate where I'm coming from and the spirit that I bring this up. I say this because I love black people.
Okay. Some would immediately say, well, why do you say you love black people? Why can't you just say you love all people?
Well, I think it's a cheap shot to say we love all people, because try as I may, Dan, there's some people I just can't love. That they're just, I try. I try, Dan, but some people really, really take it as a challenge to
Are you trying to say that there are some people out there that sour the milk of human kindness?
Yes.
And that there are some Christians out there that were baptized in lemon juice?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And yes, we're to love our enemies. That's absolutely true.
But who, in fact, is the real enemy here?
That is the $64,000 question.
Because it seems to me that, and I'm not trying to get off topic because I do want to deal with the Christian thing, but I know that this is a subject that's near and dear to your heart, because people who don't know you would immediately assume that if they went and looked in your closet, there would be a cape, a hood, and a flaming torch at the ready.
Yeah.
But I can assure you, because I know this man, that he does not have a flaming torch. I have to let him borrow mine whenever. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist that one. That one was just kind of hanging out there.
Seems to me there's a Dave Chappelle skit about that.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. I like Dave Chappelle. You can't.
Me too.
And one of the things I've noticed, and this has a lot to do with the current culture, is that there's a couple of podcasters who are on the air who are tackling issues about men and women's relationships. But the thing that bothers me about what they're saying is that they're cursing so doggone much.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me I can't send your post to anybody, even if your message is 100% spot on. I can't forward a message where you're cursing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The language is so bad.
If your language is just so bad, and then, you talk about women and you want black women to respect the black men, and then you're up there cursing. Well, if you want black women to respect black men, be respectable. Make your point, but you don't need F-bombs. You just don't need to curse. I'm sorry. And it is a pet peeve of mine, because one of my dear pastors has the habit of cursing, and he says cursing is not that big a deal. And he and I have gone almost round and round on this, but he's coming to the place now where he recognizes the fact that, yeah, I guess it could put some people off. He doesn't do it from the pulpit, obviously, and he doesn't do it around church folk. But if he's comfortable with you, then he will curse around you. And we accept our brothers and our friends as just that. But, I've said to him, you're far too intelligent, and I believe your heart is in the right place to allow people to think that you are, a moron, someone who doesn't know how to express himself without cursing, because that's just not true. So
Cursing is the sign of someone who does not have a mastery of the English language.
Well, I disagree. This person is I don't want to say he's a scholar. He's a biblical scholar. I think MDiv is where it begins for him. He's got the paperwork behind, and he's studied, at the most prestigious schools. And trust me, when it comes to Bible knowledge, if he doesn't know it, it doesn't need to be known. At least I'm exaggerating, obviously, but what I'm trying to say is that he's incredibly smart, and he's also incredibly street smart. So the two are there, and that's what I desire to be, is, biblically, street, and emotionally smart, so that I can be well-rounded when it comes to my wife. Because let's face it, when I get into an argument with her, I just need to just tap out before I say another word.
Yeah.
That's where Nira laughs. Yeah. Actually, the last time she wanted to, we were going to get into an argument. I said, wait a minute, hold it. Go back to 2 weeks ago where you won the argument and I wasn't in the room. Just say that's what happens now, okay? Come on, Nira, I'm telling the truth.
Depends on the day.
A shout out to Miss Linda this morning.
Yeah, see, I gave you a chance to do it on your own this time.
Yeah.
I don't know where all my homies are at this morning.
I hope I didn't scare them off.
No. They got to come through me first, and nobody wants that. So don't sweat it.
So I do want to make a statement on something that you said earlier, when you said, "Why can't you just say I love all people? Why
Yes.
you have to single out or differentiate?"
Yes.
And I absolutely hate when people say that so much, because when you make a stroke too broad, you remove the individuality and you remove the uniqueness. And if God wanted us all to be the same, he would have made us that way.
Fair enough. Like I said, go
And
back 2
so
weeks ago
we
when you
have
had the
different
argument and lost.
Yeah. We have we have different cultures, we have different languages, we have different abilities, and we have different shades and colors and all these beautiful things. Why do we have to remove the uniqueness because, oh no, one group doesn't like it, or oh no, this one group has put bad press on the entire group? Why do we have to remove the uniqueness and the beauty and the individuality from the rest of the group to erase the bad? That's just not fair to everyone else.
And as always, you make a very good point. And notice I didn't say what Homer Simpson said. Your mother makes a very loud point. I said you make a very good point, because you are making a very good point. But I think the issue is Black Lives Matter has forced us to choose sides. I'm an all lives matter person, but when I say that, I was accused of not fully understanding or even embracing my quote unquote blackness.
Yeah.
You missed one of the early episodes where I was taken to task for not being black enough. Oh, seriously, it's in the archive somewhere. I should find it one day and play it again. I was taken to task for not being black enough because of my support for certain political figures that people have decided or have called in the past racist and Stalinist and Hitlerish. So you can't really tell who I'm talking about, because that happens to a lot of different people.
Wow.
So when you say I love black people, it does, if I said it, it would sound silly because, well, you are a black person. How come you can't love your own person? And when you say it, it sounds patronizing because you're whiter than Casper's ghost.
Well, that's true.
So how do you win? Hang on, that's a question for Nira. How do you win?
Unfortunately, we have had pushed into us so much this racial divide, this political divide. Our media is so saturated with, there has to be lines everywhere that you have to pick a side. It's like, but why was there a side to begin with? And nobody wants to listen to that because it is so shoved down our throat that we have to pick a side. And it makes me so darn mad because that was never the point. And again, you lose the individuality. Take Native Americans, for example. A lot of people think that all Native Americans are the same. And this has been shoved in our throats by history, by all these things. When you have these multiple tribes that have a beautiful history and have these amazing things that each one of them is known for and unique for, yet when you lump them all together, you remove each and every one of those beautiful things. But it's, well, now you're this. And again, there's this racial divide. There's all these things. There's black, there's white, there's male, there's female. There's all these divisions that we're trying to put in place because everyone wants to be right. And everyone wants to be known, and they want to feel unique. They want to feel like an individual. They want to feel loved for who they are, and they're going about it in the absolute worst way possible. And the way we get around that is recognizing, acknowledging the differences, but not letting them become so much of an issue that it is used to divide us.
Okay.
Because if you and I were to stand in the same room, everyone is going to know I'm white, you're black.
Not only that, they're going to know you're male, I'm female. Reverse that. I'm male, you're female.
There's no question about it. There's no denying that fact. But there's no argument there either. And they can't put this massive divide in there because we're sitting there going, yeah, that's factually accurate. Yep, moving on, but it's when people stop and try and make it the whole point.
Okay,
Dan, and then it clouds the point.
Let's let Dan get in here.
Just for our listeners' sake, when I say I love black people, I'm saying that I love you as a whole. I do not hold any animus. I don't. When I see bad behaviors that are stereotypical of black people, when I see black people doing it, I'm not saying, oh, look, that's just another lazy whatever, No, I'm saying, please don't do this to yourselves, because when you do something that reinforces a negative stereotype of the black community, everybody else pays for it. All of your people pay for it. I don't pay for it. Doesn't hurt me a bit. It hurts you. And, I don't get me wrong. There are a lot of times when I want to go up and just choke somebody who looks like you, not out of rage, but because I want them to see what they're doing to themselves and to stop doing it, because everyone around them is paying the bill for that one bad behavior. And then you...
Wow. This... Whew. I can't wait till Bishop Hamby hears this one.
Well, but I ever since we went, when we started into Black History Month this year, I believe I said it, but God's given us this platform, and I'm so grateful that He's provided this opportunity for someone who looks like me to engage in the real conversations with someone who looks like you, because we got to learn how to talk about this stuff, because the subject doesn't go away just because you shut down a conversation.
Right.
The problem doesn't go away. It just remains there, and it continues to fester. And everybody's, oh, why do white people not like black people? Well, gee, when you do this and do this and this, it's not your color that I have a problem with. It's that, I don't want to have to deal with all this outlandish behavior at the food court in the mall or on a Carnival cruise ship or whatever.
Okay.
I don't want to have to do that.
So, two questions. First, where's Jamal when you need him?
Exactly.
If you're listening, Brother Jamal, how about calling in? Because I may or may not be equipped to handle this particular conversation, because here's the issue that I have is I look at the disproportionate amount of black people in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, some of them are clearly guilty.
Yep.
And belong right where they are.
Yep.
I have literally not only ate with evil, I've looked in the eyes of evil. I've played chess with evil.
Mm-hmm.
And beat evil in chess, and they didn't want to play anymore after that. So I recognize the fact that evil is, and the person I was playing is the same color as me.
Yeah.
But he was evil. I don't know if he's still with us. Rumors are that he's gone. I don't know. If he is gone, I hope he made peace with the Lord first before he went. But I hope that for everybody, including myself, or starting with myself. But the dude was evil. There's no two ways about it. And every stereotype that you're talking about, he not only portrayed, but profited from.
Yeah.
So, and this is one of those if you know type of situations, because I'm not giving any names.
Yeah.
So I have to look at the Caucasian race. If I put the Caucasian race through the same filter that you put the black race through, I come up with way more egregious activity on the Caucasian side than I do on the black side. In the episode where Sammy Davis is meeting with Archie Bunker. Now, I liked All in the Family. The early writing was good. As the show wore on, they quote unquote humanized him, and to me, it became more of an excuse to excuse his behavior. We learned that Archie Bunker was an abused child, neglected, and raised by an ogre of a father and a complete doormat of a mother. So Archie formed all of his opinions based on what he saw at home.
Are you talking Archie Bunker
Yes.
or Carol O'Connor?
I'm talking the character that Carol O'Connor played,
Okay.
which was Archie Bunker. Carol
Okay, all right.
O'Connor, as an actor, was none of those things. For him, it truly was an acting job.
Yeah.
Because he said, if I remember correctly, that given the script, he could not do anything less than play it to the hilt and become what the script is. And I thought to myself, well, that's what an actor's supposed to do. So I have a problem with Carol O'Connor. And, if you study the man's history and behind the scenes, it's not exemplary, but it's not Archie Bunker either, just like
Right.
everybody else. But
Right. And you have to look at also the general culture of that time.
But keep in mind, the general culture of that time was that show was written by Norman Lear, who was of the Jewish faith.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting a stereotype of a stereotype written by a stereotype.
Yep. We're all stereotypes.
We're all stereotypical in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't mean we're stereotypes. I'm parsing because it's important.
Yeah.
Everything. Look, Nira's female, so there are female things that are stereotypical to being female. I am male. Yep. There are stereotypical things that are part of being male. You don't believe me? Ask my wife, who will tell you. Yep, he's a man. Now, when he comes home, for some reason, he can take an engine apart and put it back together, but can't find a coat hanger.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah. And I know the coat hangers are in my closet. I have a closet. And in the closet, I'm supposed to hang my clothes. I know all this. But the floor is so much more convenient.
Yep, that's right.
What's up, Nira?
I said, amen. Someone with ADHD, amen.
Okay. So when I look at what the Caucasian race has done in America, how America got built, how America got formed, all of the quote unquote sacrifices made, all of the people that died for something that should never have been. It's not a waste, but it is a shame. Well, Dan, don't you know white people fought on, march with Dr. Martin Luther King arm in arm and fought with him? I think, yes, I know this. Many people died. The Civil War was one of the bloodiest wars in our history.
Yeah. And it was initiated by white people against white people
and it
on behalf of black people.
And it should never have been an issue. You don't have a document that starts off with, we hold all men to be, we hold it to be, oh my goodness. We hold it to be self-evident that all men are created equal and endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. Among those are the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When you start with a document like that, there's no need for a 14th and 15th Amendment because there's no slaves.
Yeah, you got a good point. At that time, slaves and black people were not considered to be human.
But that's
They
the,
were
but
considered.
we know that there were 3/5,
Yeah.
but that's my point. Not only was the black man not considered to be human, but the white woman didn't fare all that well either. Let's be honest. Okay? All the time Master was not in the bed with his wife where he was supposed to be, he was out in the back knocking up a slave, which he's not supposed to have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when we look at the white race and juxtapose it to the black race, who really has the ability to point a finger?
It's
Yes,
not.
exactly.
I'm not pointing fingers. I am acknowledging that the time between emancipation and 1963, we all know what 1963 is significant for with regard to black people. In between there, the black family unit was strong.
And then,
And
are you sure you want to go down this road? Are you
Yep.
sure you want to go
We
down
have
this road?
We have to go down this road, Dan. We are compelled. If we don't, we are doing a disservice to God, because he gave us this platform so we have these discussions. We have to.
Because in 1963, the Civil Rights Acts were signed, and immediately the black family unit went from 70%, let's say 73%, I think is the accepted, of father in the home to what is it now? 11%?
Yeah.
And probably
Yeah.
being high with that.
Yeah. It's devastated your community.
And
that breaks my heart.
And who created the legislation that did this? It wasn't black people.
It was a Democrat white president that came up with this. Now,
And you know why? And you know what that president? They, of course, if you Google it, it'll say, or if you Wikipedia it or AI, it'll say there is no actual quote that he said. We got to give them something, and we'll keep these blanks. They'll be Democrat for the rest of their life because of this.
Yeah, for 200 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking. Now this I can say because this is a matter of record. Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was a horrible human being, just in life. Never mind the fact that he was president. You talk about presidencies. This was a person who disrespected the office so much that he held board meetings in the bathroom. Not while he was standing, mind you, while he was, and I'm going to say it clearly, sitting.
Yeah.
So the FCC does not fine us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did it because he had a disdain for people who were college educated, and he got the impression they thought themselves better than him. So at every turn, he did stuff to humiliate them, including, and again, this, I don't know if AI will back me up on this, including walking through the White House with his you-know-what hanging out, which apparently was a sight to behold, some say, but never really did anything for me because I got one, so I know what they look like. So this was the person who did this and it's what is documented that he did not like, quote unquote, intellectuals, and did his best to embarrass them at every point.
Yeah.
That is documented. Whether he said what he said, whether he did what he did, inquiring minds want to know, and you can judge his character. And signing this was saying they'll be voting Democrat for the next 200 years. How does that correspond with what white America thinks of black America.
What we're talking about is the war on poverty, and this whole notion that if there's not a man in the house, the government will send a woman X number of dollars per child that she has out of wedlock. And that was an incentive that regrettably black people took advantage of.
Did they take advantage of, or that's, thank you. They didn't take advantage of it. They took the bait.
They took the bait.
And that is an issue that I have with black men to this day.
Yes.
Okay. And I can't in all good conscience blame the white guy. You don't blame the guy who's driving. You know, you can blame the guy who's driving the neighborhood in the white van saying, "Hey kid, you want some candy?" You certainly can blame him.
Yeah.
But the kid can't take the bait. There's got to be training in the house, in the home.
Exactly.
That say
exactly
all the candy. I know my brother, for all of his quote unquote moral failings, there was money at the house. A lot of money at the house that all his sons and daughters knew about. And the rule is you could take it if you needed to take it, just have a good reason. So they're not going to be when they're in school or whatever, they're not going to be enticed by anybody offering them money because they have money. And kid money. If there's a kid's rich with $10 back then. Are you kidding? $10 was like having 100 now. Actually, like having 1,000 now. Yeah. So, he established the fact that in his house, he was the king, he was the boss, he was the leader, and he provided all the needs that you don't need anybody else enticing you with anything. It's all right here. If you need money, it's in that top drawer. Cash.
Yep.
And consequently, none of his children, surprise, surprise, ever got caught stealing.
Mm-hmm.
They all went and finished school. You know, all of the things that, and I got to be careful, all the things that a child is supposed to do.
Yeah.
They did. Mm-hmm. But that's because he set the tone for it.
He raised them, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah.
He was a father.
He was a father. He wasn't much of a husband, but he was a father.
Okay, but that's at least 1 out of 2.
Well, yeah. No, he'll tell, and I'm not talking behind his back because my brother, I love him. He'll tell you in a heartbeat. You know, I wasn't much of a husband, but I was a father, and he was.
Yeah.
And consequently, all of his kids went on to do good things, or going on doing good things now. None of his kids are impoverished right now because he taught them how to survive.
Yeah.
So a civil rights act didn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form. I'm a victim of it, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah, because there are many people, not me, but there are many people that will look at you and say, by the color of his skin, he is probably XYZ.
Well, it happens every day. You know what I do for a living. You know what I did for a living. When I walk into a room, thank God for Broken Chains Biker Church, because when I walked in, the only thing they were really concerned about is he an undercover cop?
Yeah.
They didn't care what color my skin was. They didn't care. I looked sufficiently different to be out of the mold, so I had to be there for a reason. Once they determined I wasn't involved in law enforcement and anyhow, the doors were wide open. And people like yourself, Crazy Dave, Chopper Deb, they didn't care what color I was, and they didn't care whether I was a cop or not. I wasn't. That wasn't in their lexicon. It wasn't in your lexicon.
I was dialing 911, and it was the operator that says, "No, he ain't one of us."
There you go. And Crazy Dave is like, "That's my brother. I don't care. I was his brother when he first saw me." But that was Crazy Dave.
Yeah.
You were either his brother or his enemy on first glance. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And I came off as a brother. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
And Pastor Tom did not pastor me as a black person, whatever the heck that means.
Mm-hmm.
Nira?
Oh, it's funny to me because I've heard people say things like that. I'm like, I don't understand what that means.
So we're going to be in station ID in a couple of minutes here. So, boy, we're kind of down the rabbit hole now, huh?
Absolutely. We have to.
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Not that, actually, I've been to Kansas. I had a great time there. I spent a week there one night. It was a lot of fun. It was 2 weeks, but.
I actually think the beautiful part of this conversation is the fact that this is very similar to how Christians and non-Christians look at one another. And I think a lot of the same arguments could be made for that and not just color and culture and things like that. And you can take it and apply it to just about any situation where there's division.
Well, I wish I could say you were wrong, but you can't. I mean,